so that they can benefit the benefits. They can see the benefits that come to them in this religion from Allah. When they perform in Hajj and Umrah, things like that, you sell things, you give me money, and you didn't go to Hajj at all. You have nice clothes, you have a house, you have money. That's from the manafi'. Don't use that to disobey Allah Azza wa Jal. So we say to the sisters, come out properly and fear Allah. And part of the culture in many of these cities, Birmingham, Manchester, I don't know how it is in Leicester, but I know there's a street that's very diverse coming in from Birmingham. What's that street called? A lot of Romanians are there. That street in Leicester. Yeah, that, I don't know if they do it on that road. I don't know. But one thing we have to stop is this display on the Eid. That's the display of al-Jahiliyyah. It's the display of the cars and just the evil that's going on. So let the sister fear Allah and come out with the right clothes on.
Maslama. تفضل.
Salam rahmatullah habibi. The little man, Muslim, was asking on Friday, when you take a shower and you walk to the masjid, is that only on the 10 days of Dhul-Hijjah? Allahumma la. You have to wash yourself throughout the course of the year. You have to wash yourself throughout the course of the year. And as I mentioned in that hadith, the hadith said, "Man ghassala wa ightasala." He caused his wife to take a shower. Some scholars said that means he had relationships with her. And other scholars said no. It means that one person, he washed his head and he paid attention to washing his head. And he also washed his body. The Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, haqqun ala kulli muslim an yaghtasila fi kulli sab'ati ayamin yawmin yaghsilu fihi ra'suhu wa jasada. It is the obligation upon every Muslim that he has to wash every 7 days his whole body. He has to clean his hair and the rest of his body. So that hadith, whoever washes his head and washes his body and leaves early. So I wanted to take this time out to connect this to the question of brother right here, to say to you as young people, you guys got to be on top of your hygiene. Can't be a dirty, stinking bum, because in our religion, purity is half of the deen. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is I got sons. At-Tahur shatrul iman. You got to clean yourself, your shoes, your feet, your clothes, your undergarments, and it's even more so for the woman. It's a bad thing, for the Muslim woman to be unkept, to not have good smells. What's wrong with you? So concerning this hadith, you have to wash and take a shower every 7 days. It's wajib. To go beyond 7, haram. But what that mean? You got to wait every 7 days? Abu Usamah said I should just take a shower once every 7 days. I didn't say that. You should try to take a shower every day. Clean yourself. Brush your teeth. Clean your house, your room, your clothes. Don't be a bum. Do that every day. But if circumstances necessitate you working out in the middle of the ocean, the Antarctic, you know where they have those rigs for the oil fields? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's very dangerous out there. They make a lot of money. You working out there. You only shower once every week. No problem. You're working somewhere in Iraq, and there is, those oil fields are burning. You're a fireman. You got to put that out. You take a shower once every 7 days. You know the extreme examples, but you're not in Iraq right now, and you're not in the middle of the ocean right now. Got to go and wash yourself, man. Young people in Islam staying dirty like that. So that's the meaning of it. You got to wash every day. But this hadith is just saying on the day of Jummah, because it has khasa'is, special things. This is special for this day. Wajib, take a ghusl on this day.
By the way, his name was Aslam. I got it wrong. That's Maslama, his brother's there.
Aslam.
تفضل.
I've come across an opinion that it's the daytime of the first 10 days of Dhul-Hijjah that has more virtue than the daytime of the last 10 days of Ramadan, but the nighttime is still better of Ramadan. Is there any authenticity?
The brother is saying that he came across some statements that it's the daytimes of Dhul-Hijjah as opposed to the nighttime. Yeah, that's a statement from the ulama of al-Islam. And those types of points of ikhtilaf, knowledge-wise, they're important. We want to know as much as we can. But in terms of practicality, we should just try to take advantage of all the days. Try to make the most of them. So some of the scholars are of the opinion that it's just the daytime. Some of the scholars says the day and the night. Wal fajr, wal layal and ashr. Allah swore by the nights of the 10 days and nights. It's inclusive. Some scholars said, no, the daytime during these 10 days are the best days. And the nighttime in Ramadan are the best nights, especially Laylatul Qadr. But the Muslim who is aqil, hadiq, he's really smart, he's the one who said, I'm going to take advantage of the whole situation, daytime and nighttime. But what we have no shak in is that he mentioned daytime, so we'll stick with that. But that ayat said the nighttime as well.
تفضل. And then I'll do you, okay? Next.
Salam.
If someone is planning to do
Hiv,
udhiyah,
udhiyah.
and obviously they have to abstain from cutting their nails and hair until that day comes, until the udhiyah is performed. What about the rest of his family? Do they also have to abstain from cutting their nails and hair, or is it just the person who's...
So the question from our brother is, the person who wants to slaughter and do the udhiyah, he's been told not to cut his hands, his fingers, and his hair. She's been told to do that. What about the rest of the family members? This is a good question. The hadith is clear, all of them says, men, إِذَا دَخْلَ الْعَشْرِ. Anybody who wants to, the one who wants to slaughter. So the one who's doing the slaughtering is the one that refrains from it. As for the rest of the family, even if it's a cow or a camel on their behalf, they don't have to do anything. That's number one. Number two, when the one who wants to slaughter refrains from grooming himself, it doesn't mean that he can't use perfume for those 10 days, like the pilgrim. It doesn't mean that he's in ihram, like the pilgrim. It doesn't mean he can't have relationships with his wife, like the pilgrim. Doesn't mean that. It just means as it relates to slaughtering, this is one of the things that he's doing that the pilgrims are doing, but he's not like the pilgrim in every single way. So no, the one who's doing it, mubasharatan, the one who's doing it, or it's being done on their behalf. So his mother is paying for a ram to be sacrificed. Someone else doing as a wakil for her. She shouldn't groom herself, even though she's not doing the slaughtering herself. And Allah is a'la and a'lam.
تفضل.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Like, is it like what is the signs of shirk? The other signs of shirk?
What's your name, little man?
Haytham.
Haytham. Inshallah. The sign of shirk, what do you mean exactly?
No, you mean like or like most of the signs of like like you're better than someone. Like
To say that you're better than someone, although it's haram and it's a major sin, and they call that kibr or takabbur. This is a major sin and it's haram, and it's what the bad people have. Shaitan, he's like that. Fir'aun, a lot of times people who are rich are like that. Racist people will look at other people and say, I'm better than you because of their color or their tribe. Although it's bad, Akhi Haytham, it's not shirk. That's a major sin, but it's not shirk. A shirk is when a person worships other than Allah Azza wa Jal. He says there's Allah and he worships other than Allah. He worships Jesus, the cow, the moon, or something like that. That's shirkun billah. It's someone who swears. He makes dua to other than Allah. He makes dua to someone in the grave who's dead, can't help him. He's the person who believes in that there's another deity that can help him and harm him other than Allah. So kibr is not that, Akhi Haytham. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect us from kibr and shirk. Say Ameen. Good job, Haytham.
Anyone else? Tfaddal. My brother's a revert.
Salam. Who? Haytham? You look Somali.
They told him my whole life.
You Somali?
Nah.
Where you from?
Cape Verde, West Africa.
Hayakum Allah, my man. Tfaddal. What's your name?
Kwazma, my name's Yusuf.
Yusuf.
I was gonna ask you, I do an apprenticeship and one of my colleagues, they're an apostate to Islam. I'm just wondering, how do you deal with such people that are left the fold of Islam?
One of your colleagues left Al-Islam?
Yeah.
Just try to be an example for him, my brother. Maybe from the wisdom of you becoming a Muslim is to be a reflection to some of the people and a lesson and a sign to someone like that. He sees you became a Muslim and he left Al-Islam after being gifted it, the religion. He didn't do anything, he just received it, born and raised on it like that. Someone like you. So be gentle and easy with him and, give him dawah in a nice way. Don't overwhelm him. Don't do it in the way of kibr. I'm a Muslim now, I'm better than... No, just feel sorry for the dude. And we make dua to Allah Azza wa Jal that Allah guides that individual back to Al-Islam. We never know what's going to happen. Everybody's Islam is under threat. Muslim today, you're not Muslim tonight because their hearts are between the two fingers of Ar-Rahman, Allah Azza wa Jal, and He makes you a kafir just like that. May Allah protect our deen and give us thabat on this religion. Don't cause us to check out except with the people of Al-Islam and Tawheed and the Sunnah.
Shaykh, I've had more than one person here ask me, maybe you can answer it, inshallah, on a more wider scale. If someone has changed his gender from that which they were born upon or claims to be other than what he was born upon, right? Can they remain friends? Are they allowed to be in contact with this type of individual?
Yeah, if someone has changed their gender, is it permissible to remain friends with that individual? Changing one's gender in the deen is not permissible. It's changing Allah's creation, and it's not permissible. So therefore, it's in disobedience of Allah Azza wa Jal. And we have to love what Allah loves. We have to dislike what Allah dislikes. So if a person comes and says, I'm changing my gender, we'll say to him, as a Muslim, for an example, we don't make takfir of you. We're not saying that you are not Muslim because you did this, but this is a major sin. It's a major sin. And I have to be clear that in the religion, it shouldn't be done. Now, whether or not I remain connected to that person or how I remain connected to that person depends on everything that's going on. The general rule is you have to avoid people who are sinning and making mistakes. That's the general rule. The example of a righteous sitting and friendship and the example of a bad sitting and friendship and assembly is like the example of a man who sells perfume and a man who's a blacksmith. The righteous man, the one who sells perfume, when you go to him, you'll smell like perfume because you're with a religious person. And if he'll give you the perfume as a gift or you buy it from him. And when you get out of there, just because you were in his presence, you got benefit. But the evildoer and the evil are on different levels. So the blacksmith is dealing with all that fire in it. The one who changes his sex, that blacksmith is a big furnace. It's not like a small furnace, like a stove. That blacksmith. So if you go and you sit around him, you're going to get your clothes burnt, or you're going to walk away smelling like smoke. So that hadith clearly shows us, when you see the ayat of Allah being ridiculed, don't sit there. And if you sit there with them, then you'll like them. You're guilty, like them. People are playing around with the religion, and you stay there at the expense of the deen, laughing, saying it's okay, everything is cool, you my man, you always going to be my man. No, you have to take a position. You have to say to people, this is my deen, that's your deen. Lakum deenakum waliya deen. I got to draw the line in the sand. So there are people who are forced to exchange with them, give them dawah, educate them, and then there are people you have to get away. You have to get away because religiously you can't do that. Can't hang around a drug dealer. Can't hang around a person who's dealing drugs, especially if you're in America, Philadelphia, and these places, Chicago. You, your family, everybody on the block get killed. Black lives don't matter to those kind of people back there at all. A person's a bank robber, a person's a murderer. The man murdered 100 people, and the community allowed him to exist with them, and he murdered 100 people. No one in the community stopped him. All right, they're scared. Okay, you got to get out of there. Because if you stay there, that's a reason to get destroyed. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the example of those people who stop people from the evil and the people who just let it happen. Oh, we're cool. He says, like the example of a group of people who were riding on a boat. As they were riding on the boat, there were some of the people who stayed on top of the boat and some of the people who are in the bottom of the boat. So every time the people in the bottom of the boat wanted to drink, they would have to go upstairs and disturb the people on the top of the boat and get the water. They said, let's stop disturbing them. Let's just get the water right here, directly from the bottom. So they started cracking a hole in the boat. The people upstairs started hearing boom, 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 boom. They started hearing it. They could have said, that's their business. Hey, you still my man. You still my man. It's cool with me what you did. But they didn't do that. They went downstairs. And when they saw the people trying to break, they grabbed them and said, what are you doing? Don't do that. They stopped them from doing what they do. Rasulullah says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if they didn't stop them, then those people would have destroyed themselves and they would have destroyed the other people, the innocent people. And that's what we have. If we were to sit around and just allow people to do things and we say, hey, to each his own, to each his own. All of the spokes of the wheel lead to the center. You do you. That's not our religion. You have to take a mawqif, a position. And Allah knows best. As we do per usual, man, we never know when we're going to come back to see you brothers. Leicester, nice community, balanced community. Admin, although they're not perfect because there's no perfect admin, they're working for the good of the community. It's what we love to see about Masjid al-Furqan. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give the rushd to the admin here, to give them an idara that is hakima, and we encourage you brothers to continue to get in where you fit in and help the community. Don't be of those people who just take. Electricity, the water, the space, well, that's just yours. But be of the people who bring your piece of the puzzle to the table and give. In the way of sadaqah, give. In whatever skills you have. You're a teacher, you're this, that. Come up with ideas, work on the program. My man who's been working here, I don't know, what's your name again?
Muhammad.
Huh?
Muhammad.
Thumama?
No, Muhammad.
Muhammad.
Yeah.
So you're the media man, huh?
Yeah.
You a volunteer?
Yeah.
Get in where you fit in. Volunteer, clean up the masjid. Again, may Allah help the masjid, the admin in the masjid. Bless our shabab. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وأشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب